Hey, how's everyone doing? I just got back from St. Louis yesterday, and the day before yesterday, got a chance to go see. Uh, I cannot pronounce its long name. It's a long name. I'm probably going to refer to it as Maquia by the main character's name. That's how kind of got said in the theater too on the ticket. But I was gonna call it by its English translation name right now. Let's decorate the promised flowers in the farewell morning, which is I was going to talk about kind of the background, which I find kind of interesting. It's a PA Works movie, directed by Mari Okada, who, if you don't know, is the that's right. Yeah, it's the person who did the scripts for Hana, and this is like her directorial debut, basically, which is one of the main reasons I was interested in seeing the movie, and was even more interested after seeing all the good reviews. Though I've never actually seen Hana personally. I'm gonna kind of give a spoiler-free review real quick, and then I'll get into spoilers discussing certain things I liked about the movie and things I didn't like about the movie. So I'll give like a cutoff, give a warning before I get into spoilers. So start off, spoiler free one. If you want to go see the movie, I highly recommend you go see the movie. It's very good. I think there's more showings on the 30th. I'm gonna post this tonight, so there's still a small chance. Like if I can convince you to go see, like buy tickets and go see the movie on the 30th, which is like a day from now, when this is probably gonna actually go up, definitely go do it. And whenever it comes out on Blu-ray, definitely pick it up. Or if it's ever had like a Crunchyroll premiere or anything like that, it's a very good movie. It's very emotional. It's beautifully animated. It's probably one of the most beautiful anime movies I've ever seen, if not the most beautiful anime movie I've ever seen. It's so pretty. It's just, if you ever watch PA Works shows, they create such beautiful worlds in their show and such beautiful scenery, and that's just like normal anime shows. And then, like, the budget for a movie is so much more, and you can just see the money in like almost every screen. It's so pretty. There's a lot of CGI. Not a lot, but there's CGI, and it's really good CGI. And I actually, as I was watching the subtitles, or the not subtitles, the ending credits, Ufotable's name popped along. I was like, okay, that's explaining why CGI was so good, because CGI was also very nice, actually. No, it's such a pretty movie. I can't recommend it enough. Go see it. Probably give it basically. I'm not sure I would give it a 10 out of 10, but definitely like a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. Really, that's really all I can really say. It's just, once again, it's very good. Go check it out. Without me getting into spoilers. And you might have to be like one of the girls who I saw in my movie theater who brought her own box of tissues to watch the movie with. It hits on a lot of levels, especially for me personally. So, but I'm gonna get into spoiler territory now. So here's your warning for that in 3, 2, 1. Okay. So I do have I'll talk about what I liked first. So, like, stuff that really stood out to me. I like the world is, once again, so beautifully animated in every way. I think I've said that like 5 times now. It's so pretty. And even like some of like the scenes where like they're inside houses and the houses aren't like, they're just houses, but they're still so pretty looking. The highlights of the visuals are probably the really beginning when she is in her village at the very beginning, where there's a lot of like water and the hanging cloth from the tops of buildings and stuff like that, and that kind of goes along with the fantasy aspect of it is really interesting. It's not like a really big epic fantasy. Like there's not like elves or anything like that. Kind of the whole point of the story, if you've seen it already, is kind of the dying of legends. So like there's very few things. So like there's like only a couple dragons, and that the dragons are kind of dying out. So they're finding these long living people. And it's not a big expansive fantasy world, but it's a very interesting one. Like little pieces we get. Like I could totally go for. I don't need any continuation of this story. This story is definitely done, but I would love to see like more stuff in like this world, like more other kind of legends and stuff like that. Let's see. Had a few lines that still kind of get me a little choked up when I think about them. It was like motherhood and stuff like that, where kind of like the main character's like, moms don't cry. It's like, oh man. And it's one of those movies that a lot of the times when it has the emotional parts, it really pounds you like multiple things in a row, like bam, 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 like just oh. And it keeps going, especially at the end where it keeps hitting you really hard. With emotional scene after emotional scene, really. And it also leads to like in the probably best scene of the movie kind of being at the end as well. And yeah, I've once again never seen Hana, but god damn, if it pounds me with emotions that hard, I'm not sure I really want to see it. Jeez. I did manage not to cry in the movie theater, luckily somehow, but I came pretty close. I'm sure if I ever watch it again, I probably will. And it's as someone who has a good relationship with their mom, and it's very, I can relate a lot to a lot of the stuff that's going on in the movie. Not all of it, but it's just a lot of scenes and moments where it's like, you think your own mom. I'm getting I can feel myself getting slightly emotional now. It's a very, it hits you really hard. Like I've been thinking about the movie the last couple days, and I still every once in a while have a moment where I have to kind of stop and control my emotions a little bit, because they kind of start leaking out. It hits pretty hard, it's a sad movie, it's not the happiest for a lot of it, there's a lot of happy moments, but there's also a lot of sad moments, kind of like how life is, especially just obviously like the ending and stuff like that. Talk about kind of a good bad thing I thought they did. There is a bit of an Oedipus complex kind of part when the son is Ariel is he's a teenager, and he figured out at some point, obviously, like, my mom's not aging and stuff like that, and he figures out you're not like my biological mother, and he kind of starts clearly having some kind of almost romantic feelings for his mother. And there's kind of a scene where he gets drunk and doesn't try and assault her or anything like that, but is kind of upset that he's almost upset that like he can't, like, that emotional connection, she's not willing to return it. It almost goes into the whole full Oedipus complex, and I was really worried it was going to, and it really doesn't. Actually does a very good job of addressing it, which I felt like it needed addressing, without actually going into the Oedipus complex. It addresses just, these emotions and all this stuff, and it's a very good scene actually as well. There's not really I wouldn't okay. There's like one bad scene I can think of in the movie where I didn't like a particular scene, but it does it well. If I'll give that quick thing to you, if anyone's worried about going and seeing this movie and like, oh, it's gonna be a mother son romance, it does not go that direction. So don't worry about that. Doesn't happen. Let's see. What else do I want to talk about? I think I've gotten through most of my kind of feelings. I don't know. One of my few really big gripes with the movie was probably how it handled some of its bigger side characters. Like, there's some characters that didn't really get a terribly satisfying arc and conclusion. It kind of felt like they got a little bit left behind. Like, there's like, she has like a female friend who's like her same age, and she's going for all this stuff, and there isn't. I thought there was going to be a lot more focus on it after it got introduced, and there really isn't at all. And I felt like that could have been expanded to something a little bit more interesting. Same thing with like her people that kind of got separated and were doing stuff like Krim, I guess. I don't know which one it is. My subtitle was Krim, Krim, so I don't know. And then Mao was showing Clim. Like, he doesn't. I would like a little bit more of those side characters, or I think his name's Lang. A little bit more Lang's kind of arc would have been nice. Though, to be fair, it is obviously more about Maquia and Ariel. Am I saying that name correctly? I think it's Ariel. It's not. Yeah, just I would have liked a little bit more exploration into their characters, and it's kind of, the movie is jumping like years at a time too. So like, they'll just run into these characters years later. That's kind of like, because you're jumping, like, it jumps. You're like, Ariel as a baby, then he's like 3, then he's like more like closer to 5 or 6, and then he's a teenager, then he's an adult, and they run into people from their past, obviously, and how they've kind of changed. And yeah, it's just a little bit more, I think, could have been helpful. Like, it's already like a 2-hour movie. I wonder if they cut it for time, and I wonder if maybe there's like, when the Blu-ray comes out, it might be like an uncut version that has some extra scenes with those characters to kind of complete and give them a little bit more of a complete story. Yeah, just one character, like I'm talking about, like, one character disappears for a lot of it. Another character just kind of only comes up when it just feels like it's necessary. It doesn't actually add a whole lot. And I felt like it really could have, and that's kind of disappointing. Or there's another character who just, pretty randomly shows up, and he seemed interesting and cool. You don't really get into him very much besides a couple quick scenes. And he seems like he could have been a lot more interesting and fleshed out a little bit of, like, who was this guy and what was he doing. Same with, like, one of the castle guards, or like generals, or whatever he was. Like, he could have used a little bit more fleshing out. There's also a few kind of more plot holes I have an issue with. Like, it never really fully explains what happened to all her people. Like, there's a part where they're like, if only we had another female. And it's like, well, didn't you capture, like, all of them? Like, obviously there weren't a whole lot of them there to begin with. But you captured all the ones that were there, as far as like, I could tell watching the movie, besides the main character who got away. Yeah, besides those kind of small gripes where I can kind of talk about that a little bit, there's not a whole lot for me to pick. I'm being pretty nitpicky here. Like, there's not a whole lot. There's some clunky dialogue, but I wonder if that was kind of a bad. I think I think the subtitles might have been a little bad. Like, it felt awkward, and I don't speak Japanese, but I've watched enough anime where I can pick up a little bit of it, and there's a little bit like that's translated a little strangely considering I just heard what they said and could actually kind of understand them. But in the end, doesn't terribly matter. Definitely going to pick it up when it comes out on Blu-ray, and I can't wait to watch it again. It's something you should definitely pick up when it comes out. I don't know who is the American distributor. Maybe Bandai, I guess. So hopefully they'll put out a release sooner rather than later. I hope so. Because I would definitely like to show it to some of my friends who I know aren't going to get a chance to see it in theaters, and who weren't able to go with me. I took a 4-hour. I basically took like a 4-hour trip to go see it to St. Louis. No regrets though. Great movie. Couldn't recommend it more. Kind of end. I don't terribly like numbers, but I'll give it like a 9.5 out of 10. I'm not really gonna try to do that with movies or shows a whole lot, but I'll do it real quick. And yeah, if you have some way of seeing it, I couldn't recommend more go seeing it while it's in theaters. I will definitely, if I ever get a chance to go see it in theaters again, I will definitely go just to watch it on the big screen again. And this is getting a little long, so I'm going to end it here, but I will tell kind of a funny thing I just found enjoyable. I was in a theater. My theater had about 20 people in it. And, the credits start rolling, and it's just basically a very pretty shot. And it's just a song playing, which is, I haven't double checked it, but I'm 99% sure was played by the voice actors who played the main character, singing this very beautiful song, which I really need to look up and find. And the cleaner came in, all gonna go clean, turns around and sees that no one has moved from their seats, and kind of looks a little confused and concerned for a moment. He's like, guess I'll just wait here for a moment. Not really much of part of the review, it's just something I felt like sharing because it was funny. But that's it. Thank you for watching. Let's decorate the promised flowers in the farewell morning. Maquia. Go see it if you get the chance. Best thing you could do with your time, And thank you for watching. Have a good night.